This is the EVP Podcast.
And we are back with another episode of the EVP Podcast. And I am Ghosty.
I'm Beaker.
I'm D to the V to the O.
And we are the EVP Podcast crew members.
That's right.
Presidents.
Tis I.
Presidents
Presidents.
of the EVP podcast.
New title for podcast.
Well, it was a fun night we had last night.
Like the drive?
The drive was fun.
I think we spent more time in the car than we did investigating.
Well, let's talk about it. What are we talking about today? We are talking about the old Mercur Cemetery. It is a ghost town here in Utah. And a lot of people call it Mercer. I call it Mercer. But I guess after reading more about it, it was actually named after the element. Is it an element? Mercury?
Yeah.
It's an element. Okay. Yes, the element Mercury. So
They
it
were
is,
mining the mercury ore.
well, they were mining gold. Gold was the
That
biggest
wasn't
thing.
even the original name of it. It was something else.
Lewistown.
Well,
And then it
Lewistown,
became-
USA.
Yep.
And then,
But unfortunately, that name was already taken. There was another city in Utah called Lewistown. They said, nope, we gotta scrap that name.
well, they didn't have telephones back then to call each other.
True.
They had
They
telegraphs,
sent
probably.
the Pony Express down.
It might have. When was the phone invented?
I don't know.
Because this was like 1860.
We had phones back then?
I don't know.
No, I don't think we had phones back. I think phones were like more of a 1900 thing. Back when we had.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Keep going. Keep
But anyways, this is located in Tooele County. Another weird word, Tooele.
That is true. Because tell people how to spell it.
Tooele.
What's the most common thing you hear when people...
Thule.
Yeah, Thule.
Old Thule town.
Which is funny because...
Thules are dicks.
Yes.
Or they're those things out in the weed, those weeds. The weeds, the Thules. But it's so it sits next to another ghost town called Ophir, another weird word. But yeah, both these places are real close to Thule.
Where do they get these names from?
I don't know. I think some of them might actually be like Native American. But Mercur
okay.
actually
That
comes
makes
from the word
sense.
Mercury.
Right.
What's weird about this ghost town though is that it actually was super booming. Like it had like 6,000 to 12,000 people at one point.
Right.
And which is pretty big for the 1800s. And
Especially this little small area.
right,
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's
Even
in the
today.
desert. It's in the desert.
Yeah.
In
That's what
1854, they constructed phone-like devices. In 1876 is when Alexander Graham Bell got the U.S. patent for the telephone.
the patent.
But not full production.
So, no, they might not have had phones.
No, they're telegraphing it and horseback riding.
Pony
Morse
Express.
code.
So, but yeah, so what's crazy about this town is that as of today, nothing remains of this town.
No,
Like
it's all
looking at old
gone.
pictures, these buildings were like side by side, just stacked up on each other because it was a booming mining town. And, back in those days, hidden or rich with gold or silver, or whatever you can find. That was a big deal. That's why, back in 49, when people ran over to San Francisco, but even here in Utah, Magna was a big mining place. This Mercur area. There's tons. Even today, still, there's a huge mining going on with Rio Tinto for copper. In the same mountains, actually, of Mercur, which are the Ochre Mountains.
Yeah, which is just the far,
Just on the
far
opposite
south.
side.
Yep. Well, yeah,
On the
far
southwest.
south end, southwest side of it.
Yeah, and so Mercur was just up in these mountains, and even today, there's nothing much around there. And I like just to like today, like I said, today there's hardly anything around this area. And to think at one point this was a booming town, like the old Wild West town. It's
And
crazy to think
there
of.
is not a single structure left. The only thing that is left in the mine is closed off. It's owned by this Barrick Gold Company.
It's just some old chute.
But there was a lot of gold out of this place. Like $16 million of gold came out of there.
Back in the early 1900s, late
into the
1800s.
late 1800s into the 1900s, which equivalent to today's value at somewhere around like 300 and something million.
Oh wow, okay.
But because of that, like because they kept coming up with like people start finding gold or find ways to pull more gold out of the old tailings, then it'd start booming again. And like all the people that left come right back again, or more people started coming.
Yeah, over like, what, almost 100 years?
Almost 100 years.
100 years, it kept like
Reinventing itself 3 times.
going away and coming back, going away, coming back. It burned down twice.
Yeah. It burned down like everything within hours, like a couple hours. Everything burned down.
Did they ever suspect? I don't know if you read anything. Did they ever suspect somebody did it, or if it was just more things were just more flammable back then?
Well, everything was made out of wood, of
Yes.
course, and everything
and
was
they had
really
lanterns
close together.
Everything had lanterns.
Well, what happened on the last time it burned down? Somebody was cooking Chinese food, and the oil caught on fire, and they came outside and threw the oil on the ground. But the wind blew the fire up from the oil against the house.
It reminds me. Have you seen those videos of people that take scalding hot water outside in the cold?
Oh, and try to turn into snow, and it burns them.
Yeah. You see those beakers? No.
They like throw it up and it just lands.
I've seen it like in Canada where it's so cold they throw the pot of boiling water and it just turns into steam as they throw it.
Right.
This is the same concept, but they try to make it look cool for the gram, right? So they try to do like an arch, so that it looks like as they take pictures, there's like an arch of this, boiling water, and it just kind of turns into steam. But if they don't get it high enough, it's just
Or if it's not cold enough.
or if it's not cold enough outside, just boiling water lands on. I saw this little kid do it. It's not as funny if I say little kid. All right, he was probably like 10, 11, 12, okay? Has this pot, doesn't throw it very high. It basically lands. He tries to duck. It lands on him. He rolls on the ground. It was a fail. So that's what I think of when this person was trying to throw out
Flaming
oil. Yeah, like what do you think's going to happen?
I totally thought you were making that up until I read it just now.
No, yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of Chinese immigrants that came. Actually, they were probably slaves. To be honest, let's be honest. They were probably
In
slaves.
1902?
Is that the year it was?
Yeah.
Is that one?
That's the first fire.
I mean, it's possible.
No, they weren't slaves. They were just working like they
No,
had
did-
them working on
June
the railroads.
26, 1902.
Didn't Magna have a lot of? I know Magna had a lot of Chinese miners, but were they slaves?
No,
They weren't.
1902?
no, they were just brought over here to
Magna.
help
Magna.
build the railroads.
They were brought over.
Yeah.
yeah, not to get paid.
There was no human
All
trafficking.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were asked, and then they were paid.
They didn't live in camps either.
They were rhetorically asked and then paid.
They were given a penance.
They're like, "Do you want to come mine with us?" As they drag them over,
They handcuffed them.
you'll have food. Okay. All right. I've heard some stories.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but yeah, they ended up burning the whole place down. Maybe they did it on purpose.
there was Chinese and Italian. I think was the most common immigrants that were there. Am I right? Something like that. That's what I read anyway.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, they just kept rebuilding the town, and then the town would just disappear. Like no, I don't know like why there isn't anything left. I guess they were just taking all the like any wood paneling or whatever and just using it elsewhere and building other things with it. I don't know. That seems like a pretty far out of your way to go stealing materials.
I mean, it's gated off now, but just looking on Google Maps, it's barren. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
So the only thing left of this town that you can actually see or go to is this cemetery. And
Yes.
this cemetery does not have any like markings on the grave sites. They're just like some of them just have rocks forming like a long shape of where a body would be
almost
sitting.
like a silhouette, right?
Yeah,
It's just,
so like a rock outline of where a gravesite would be with a bigger rock as the headstone with nothing written on it actually.
so you
Or there's little fences, like little gated, not gated, but a little fenced off area for each
Like picket fences.
little picket fences for each individual plot.
and to get there, just exit off old Finger Bang Highway.
Yeah, come to find out, you gotta take Finger Bang Highway all the way out to Mercur.
So okay, this is out of nowhere, and random cars are just pulled off to the side of the road, and we're like, "What are they doing there?" Someone's getting finger banged.
It's totally Finger Bang Highway.
Now I know why you forced me to eat your taco yesterday.
Whoa, what's going on here? Who are
Before
you talking to?
Before you. Wow. The El Pastor.
Well,
I'll probably say
we
it
all
wrong.
know.
This
That
is
way,
really
that way
great.
you owed me. You owed me one
I
for
don't
giving
think
you a
so.
taco.
No.
Yep. So once we got on that highway, I was
No.
just asking for a favor.
Asking for payment for the taco.
It
Reimbursement.
was a taco
Sorry,
from Del Barrio.
Inside joke here.
Delicious.
Delicious.
So, anyways, yeah, we get, and so I don't know exactly where this city actually was sitting compared to where this cemetery is, but
I
if
looked
they
it
had
up.
to,
Like I said, I was looking up on Google Maps. From that highway to the cemetery, you're probably a third to a quarter of the way into actual Mercur town.
so you continue to take the road all the way up.
Yeah, I mean it's gated, so you can't go too far. But yeah, you just take that same road. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, then they probably did have easier access to the cemetery because that was a bitch walking up to the cemetery, like just how steep that was. Imagine how because you have to walk from the part where you park up, and then you walk this trail that goes a
Yeah.
pretty steep incline,
It is a
It's a
odd
pretty
place
steep
for a
incline.
cemetery.
and
Yeah, on
it-
top of a hill.
Yeah, and if you had to carry a casket up there, that doesn't make any kind of sense.
And actually, think about this: it's a cemetery. There's like a dozen people maybe buried there.
No, there's more than that.
It's 3 miles from the city to the cemetery.
Oh, it's really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's still quite a ways.
But there's not too many people buried there, regardless.
No, it's very
No,
small.
For
Very,
a
very
town,
small.
for a town that at some point housed 12,000 people at some point.
Yeah, but if you think about, they didn't
Over the
stay
course
there
of
very
100
long.
years.
They didn't stay there very long. Every time it came back and was booming, it only lasted maybe like
Well,
a few years.
the plaque. Well, here's the thing: the plaque that you took a picture of and put it up on Instagram. It's there at the trailhead. It says like 1896 to 1915. That's almost 20 years. That's still plenty of time for, especially when like during that time frame, the whole town burned down in like 2.5 hours because of the Chinese fire.
Do you think they buried their dead then, or do you think they just kicked them down in an
Maybe
abandoned mine chute?
Maybe they'll just burn to death in the fire.
Are you saying the Chinese started that fire?
The Chinese food fire.
Okay.
It's a Chinese food
I left
fire.
out a word. I'm sorry. Chinese food fire.
They attacked us first.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a lot more people buried there. But it also makes sense. I mean, I don't know what they did back then. Would they ship them back home? Like, I don't know. I just find it weird. It's a
Throw 'em down
weird.
a
It's a
month. You're
weird
right.
place because again, it's a steep hill, and you're just up on this little plateau, overseeing the valley. It's actually a great scene. You know, it's great
3
scenery.
miles from the city.
Yeah, 3 miles from the city towards the highway. I mean, back then there wasn't a highway, but I'm sure that was the trail. That was like probably where they took their wagons. Like that's probably what they took back then, right?
Yeah, 1896.
Yeah,
Because that's apparently
horse
this is
wagons.
when the cemetery. I mean, that's the dates on the plaque. It says Mercur Cemetery, 1896 to 1915. So it's I don't know. It's curious, suspicious, in my
Yeah.
opinion. To me, it almost feels like it's like someone just got bored one day and went up there and just put a bunch of rocks and picket fences and said these are all graves.
Yeah, possibly.
We got to do some LiDAR detection and see if there's bodies actually there.
Well, I know a way we can do that. I mean, we just have to take a certain medium with us, and she can tell us if there's actually bodies there.
Oh, of course.
You know who you are.
But I do think there's bodies there, but I don't think it's haunted.
Well, you can keep telling the history of the town if you wish.
What else about it?
You know what I found interesting?
What?
According to this, in 1897, the Golden Gate Mill was built in Mercur and opened for business.
Yes.
The mill's capacity was about 1,000 tons a day, and it became the biggest cyanide mill in the United States.
I was just going to ask you if you knew what it was that was so groundbreaking about this mill. And it was a cyanide.
It was the largest cyanide mill in the U.S., here in Utah.
Well, it's because how they helped them find the gold, or get, I don't know how it correlates with gold, but it was revolutionary in the
It was
mining industry.
It says the longest single electric transmission line in the U.S. was built for this mill. The line carried power from Provo power plant to the mill. until
Wow,
approximately
that's a
1913.
long distance.
Yeah.
So also, this place was also had two major roads. So they had a fork in the road that leading down from the canyon, forked into two narrow gulches, Geyser Gulch and Horse Thief Gulch, which both of them were lined up with buildings down these streets. And there was also two different newspapers for this place. They had the Lewiston Mercury and the Mercur Miner. Two separate newspapers for this town. They had their own fire department. They had a church. They had schools. They had an opera house, a brass band, a dance hall, a dental office, several saloons, and many 24-hour restaurants, all in this town. Several grocery, dry goods, hardware, milliner stores, candy shops, livery stables, and several good hotels. There was hotels in Mercur.
Well, it makes sense. Maybe you were just coming there, staying at the hotel, mining. You didn't want to live there. I don't know.
That's crazy to think about that was going on back then, especially looking at it, and it just looks like sagebrush and jackrabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing that is left from any of this. And this place was popping.
They completely tore everything down. The current owners, I believe, over the years, just demolished everything.
Oh, really? They didn't want anybody. Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Think they're into some kind of crazy cult?
I think there's some crazy government stuff going on up in there. They got aliens.
They got too much mercury running through their veins.
Maybe.
And cyanide.
So we decided. I mean, people have been investigating this cemetery for a long time now, and we've gone up there in the past and really, we haven't gotten much from there. But a lot of people still go there, and they still talk about all this crazy stuff. So we decided, you know what? Let's go talk about it. Let's go up there and investigate one more time, and then talk about it.
Yeah, some of the stories people say is they'll see orbs flying. They'll hear voices through the trees. They'll with their devices, they'll have supposed words or communication going on with their devices, like ghost meters, K2s, and so forth. And so Ghosty said, let's investigate.
And just like we suspected, we were not getting much responses to anything.
Well, now that I know the name of the ghost, we should go back.
Oh, yeah? What's the name of
Annie
the ghost?
C. Jones.
The grave of Annie C. Jones. What's so...
She's the only, out of like 100 graves there, she's the only one that has like a plaque with her name on it.
Yeah, it's the only one with their name on it.
So there's 99 unmarked graves.
99, huh?
And there's one grave that they think belongs to a little girl, so people bring gifts, like toys.
Because it's like a smaller plot. So that everybody seems to just... when they're cleaning out their bedrooms, they just bring all their old stuffed animals and just dump them there.
That's what it looked like. One picture I saw online, someone had like a makeshift Ouija board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a piece of paper that they wrote, the alphabet stuff on, the yes and no, and that was in that little kid's picket fence.
Interesting.
So of like the 100 graves, only 20 of them have like the little picket fences around them.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, we probably investigated maybe half of the cemetery. Because looking at pictures after we left, because we got there at night, and this is my first time there, so I didn't know how big it actually was. Yeah, we only probably did about half the cemetery. It's fairly big for where it's at, but it's still not that big of a cemetery.
Right, yeah. And I mean, 100 bodies, that kind of makes more sense. I could see that. For, like I said, they only lasted, like, when they were booming in just a few years, and then it would be gone again.
Well, me and Ghosty have investigated this cemetery. This will be our third time that we just experienced. The first time was very similar. It was just that area where all those picket...
The first time it was us trying to find the damn place.
Yeah, that took a long time. Then we finally found it. It was kind of shocking when you come up the top of this hill and then you see all these picket fences around some of the plots. That was kind of, interesting. And then on the second time, we kind of went deeper into where the trees are. And I believe there was like a little bench that was there, and I think there was more. And we put up a laser grid just to kind of see if anything would kind of come across it, because it's pitch black out there. There's no lights or anything. Nothing really happened both of those nights. And then this would be our third investigation of the cemetery. We did hear an interesting little noise, though.
It was probably an owl.
Owls.
It was, but I'm just saying it was not expecting that sound. You know, it was like a chirp and whistle sound at this right after each other. But no, I don't think it was a spirit. I don't think it was. I mean, I did think maybe somebody was walking back there, and so maybe they were just making noises. I did call out, but no one responded because we did on our way up there. We did run into people.
Oh, yes. The wild gunslinger of the West.
That's right.
Old Jaron Lagasse.
Yeah, we ran into a few people. They subscribed to the podcast, liked us, followed us on Instagram and Facebook.
And then asked for a shout out.
Yeah.
So here it is.
And he really was the wild gunslinger of the West. He was packing heat, and he was shooting some coyotes.
Yes, he was. Well, he had
attempted.
He had his firearm in case there were coyotes. But I believe as this airs, the day this airs, so today, the 15th of November?
15th when it airs.
Yes.
I believe he said he was leaving for the armed forces. I don't remember which branch of the military he said he was going into, but we wish him luck and thank him in advance for his service to the country.
Yes.
Good luck, Jaron. But so after we run into them, we start doing our investigation, and yeah, none of the equipment is, nothing setting it off. Usually like the Ghost Meter Pro will pick stuff up right away, and it is, sitting there dormant forever.
Yeah, my EMF meter, at one point it did, while I was just kind of holding it in my hand. Notice how our phone's out or anything, my EMF meter did go off and start beeping. But that was like the only time. And that was when we first started. I didn't really pick up anything else the rest of it. Like when we first got there, I felt like there was a spirit kind of watching us. So I walked towards where I thought it was. And it felt like it was like kind of going around back behind the tree and avoiding us. It didn't really seem like it wanted to interact.
Right. And then when we did get any type of interaction on the Ghost Meter Pro, it wasn't much. It wasn't anything significant. And there was only one time where there was interaction on the Ghost Meter Pro that made the K2 blip to like the second light. Nothing significant, really.
And then at the same time, my eye ovulus went off. The
Yes,
eye
it
ovulus
did.
said something. It said like measure at the same time that the Ghost Meter Pro kicked in.
Yes, it did.
Then it also said hipid.
Making up words.
Making up words.
Yeah.
I've never seen that pop up on the eye ovulus before.
I don't think it's a real word.
I don't know what hipid is, but HIPID, hipid is what it said. I have no clue what that means, if it means anything. So if you know, let us know.
But I think when people are picking up like orbs out there, I mean, you're picking up, there's dust.
There's so
You're
much
outside.
dust.
There's dust.
So much dust.
A lot of wind. Could be moisture particles and bugs because you're outside. So I don't. First off, I don't pay any mind to any orbs in the first place, really. But yeah, from that place, when I see that, especially, I'm just like rolling eye rolls.
Now, I've heard so much about this place and how
Right.
great it is to investigate, and I didn't see it for myself.
Yeah, doing some research on
Right.
this location, I come across these websites and it talks about the most active or most haunted parts of Utah. And Mercur Cemetery comes up, and I'm just like, I've been here 3 times and I've had 0 experiences.
Well, it's funny. This is what people say that they experience in Mercur. Some of the paranormal people that have investigated, they say that they've had high emotions, emotional scarring, or tragic histories, and will be haunted, and they're filled with large amounts of paranormal activity. Apparently, Mercur and its residents fit into a haunted category due to its history. The cemetery is popular among investigation groups, paranormal enthusiasts, and history buffs. It says many visitors have found it difficult to get the spirits to communicate with them, especially during the day. It wasn't much better at the night for us. It says the cemetery seems to have more spirit activity during the night, which I didn't really see. It says there's a young girl who likes it when visitors place dolls upon her grave, which is probably why that one grave had all those stuffed animals and stuff. And apparently there's also an Italian immigrant miner who will chat with people through EMF meters. Many visitors say that they've experienced drains on their electronic devices. Cold spots have been felt by visitors as well. And apparently someone during an EVP session heard a voice say, "You don't belong here."
Cold spots in an outdoor setting, I
have a hard
invalid.
time with that
Super invalid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless
a
you're
gust
like
of
out
wind.
there in the middle of June when it's like 100 degrees at night and you feel a cold spot, maybe.
Yeah,
But still, outdoor cold spots. It's
No, the desert. It's the desert. It gets cold at night, even in the summer.
exactly.
It's going to get cold
but
at night.
yeah. This article says that this is one of the most haunted hot spots in Utah.
It
And
feels
I
like
just-
it feels
I
like they
don't-
say that for every article, so they get it's clickbait for articles.
Mhm,
Saying
right.
it's the most haunted. Oh, I gotta read this, and then it's like no, it's not. I'm sorry, because you think again, this is out in the middle of the desert in Tooele County. What would a spirit that can
Free
potentially,
roaming.
yeah, go anywhere they want to hang out in the middle of nowhere with coyotes around?
Well, some
Exactly.
spirits like to hang out where their body's buried,
Sure,
but still,
Maybe
like,
for a certain amount of time, maybe.
right.
I could see them wanting to, for whatever reason, for a certain amount of time. But at this point, when everybody that they have ever known is already dead, and there's nobody in this town anymore.
No one's visiting.
No, nobody's visiting your gravesite to see you that you care about. So
Right.
why stick around?
Especially when the graves don't have names on them except for Annie.
Right. I would
Annie
be
Jones.
walking my dead spirit ass over to Tooele and go haunt that spooky ass town.
Right.
it's pretty spooky Tooele already.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
this is Tooele County. All of Tooele County is just like creepy
Spooky.
as shit.
There are streets in Tooele, down in like the old part of Tooele.
They're named after us.
There is a street named after us, but in that same kind of area by that asylum, there's like some really dark ass streets,
Yeah.
and they're creepy. Like I could see some weirdos hanging out there just being real
One of the
drunk.
creepiest investigation, like I'll still
And
to
ghosts,
this day, is
and
like the
ghosts.
scariest investigation I've ever done is in Tooele.
And I still need to go there and investigate.
Well, this wasn't the.
That was a house.
This was a house. This was residential.
Yes.
This guy was so far gone, like he heard chanting in his head, and went and grabbed a pen and paper and wrote down, like phonetically, what he was hearing in his head. And when we translated it, it was Latin, saying, "This one is ours, priest." When we started cleansing the home, this dude was outside. He went outside for a smoke, and I went to check on him. And one of the things that we used to do on the old team when we did cleansings was ring a bell, because inhuman spirits of a certain nature, it's kind of like a dog whistle. It hurts them, like they don't like the frequency, they don't like the sound. When
It's
they
like
started,
Venom and Symbiote.
yes,
They hate loud.
yeah, they hate loud noises. That's why in Spider-Man 3,
how
when
you get rid of
Tobey
attachments.
Maguire hit the poles and got Venom out of Eddie Brock.
They use all that from paranormal stuff they've
Yes.
learned.
But this dude was actually curled up in the fetal position on the ground screaming, it hurts, and wanted us to stop ringing the bell.
Just like Eddie Brock.
Just like Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3.
This sounds like a familiar plot.
Yes. No, it was creepy because some of the reports that the guy had said there was like two-legged, like bipedal hoof prints walking up to one of his windows, and there was no hoof prints or nothing walking away from the window. They vanished.
He let it in through his window.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
bipedal hoof prints.
I would like to see pictures of this, because how do you determine that they're bipedal?
I don't know. I would like to see it as well.
Yeah,
But
hoof prints or hoof prints. I mean,
I don't know. We tried to cleanse the home. It didn't work because this guy was so in deep with this entity. I honestly, to this day, have no idea what happened to him.
I've been to some homes, and these are like 100-year-old homes. I've actually, because of what I do for business, I go to people's homes, and so I've asked a couple of people like, hey, I just had this theory that a lot of
this
houses,
this whole town is haunted.
yeah. Have you seen anything? And people told me, oh yeah, I've come out and saw somebody just standing in my living room that just vanish away. I'm like, oh damn. I've had my TVs would turn on and things would just happen, and then one day I walked into my living room and there was somebody just standing there, and then they disappeared. I was like, okay, well that answers that question for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, but my overall impression of this cemetery is there's nothing there.
Right.
For the
Same.
most part. I mean, yeah, will they maybe come back and see themselves, or will a random spirit be like, I can feel some energies from, dead bodies here? Yeah, but I don't think they're hanging out there.
Right. I don't think there's more than like maybe 2 spirits at a time hanging out, maybe.
And it's just, you get to be there coincidentally the time they're there. It just, if you get evidence, it's just a big coincidence.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll have to go through my audio and see if we got any EVPs or not, which I doubt.
It might be hard too, because again, we were outside and there
This
was
is
a
true.
couple wind blows here and there, so it might
Owls
be hard.
hooting away.
It was a weird sound though, right? It was kind of loud.
Well, and it
caught me off
was
some surprise.
kind of seemed like it was kind of going in a circle around us too.
Yeah, Ghosty heard it from the east end, and then we heard it again from the north end. It was like, whoa, what's happening here?
We were getting surrounded by birds of prey.
Yes.
Beaker got scared. Maybe coyotes might come out.
Well, yeah.
Just kick them.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
just-
know.
Go on, get
Get out of
coyote.
here. We don't want your kind around here.
Get on out of here.
Yeah, they're not very big. Coyotes are not very big.
I don't know. I've never seen
They're scared of us.
Yeah.
I'm scared of us.
See, imagine a coyote.
We're huge.
Yeah. Or bipedal.
Yes.
So if anyone's listening and you've considered that, or you've heard that Mercur Cemetery is one of the most haunted in Utah, we've got breaking news for you. It's not.
Find out for yourself.
You can go there. You can check it out. It's a cool little cemetery. It's interesting. I wouldn't mind going back if I purchase like other paranormal gear, maybe like a REM pod or something.
I'm more interested in going there and just because you can totally see because it's not drowned out by lights. You can kind of see the sky very clear. It's close, not too far from Dugway, where they say that's Area 52. I would just go out there just to do some sky watching.
I'd rather go to Dugway to watch the skies rather than go there.
I want to go to the Uinta
But
Basin.
then you can kill two birds with one stone. You can go to Mercur Cemetery, watch the sky there, but also just kind of hang out and see if anything kind of happens paranormally out there.
Just bring a chair and listen all night and watch the sky.
I was thinking about a cot. Just bring a cot. I want to be off the ground. Like snakes could be out there, so maybe a cot, be up a little off the ground a little bit, and then just watch the sky and just have like devices around and see if they get triggered. Because honestly, there's no reason K2s, EMF, any type of EMF reader should go off out there.
No,
You're in the
there
middle of nowhere. You're just covered or surrounded by dirt and rocks and trees.
So there is something that was setting off. I have this one EMF detector that picks up electromagnetic fields as well as some type of other magnetic field. And one of those was making it set off like a constant. So it was just something in the air there. It wasn't like something was coming in and setting it off. You know, it was just constant.
I mean, it could be the device.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just have to go back.
All right, we should.
I'm going to buy new paranormal equipment, and we'll go back.
Yeah, I mean, we're tossing the idea of getting infrared or full spectrum camera, and
Yeah, I need to replace the one that was stolen out of my car last year.
it might be kind of interesting to see out there. And we can go deeper into the woods. I mean, going at night and it's dark. It is a little creepy to go out and walk out in the woods with little flashlights, and it has a creepy feeling. So I get why people might think, "Oh, I feel like I'm being watched." Well, you just might feel it might just be creepy because you've
It's
watched horror movies, and
Right, and you're in this setting with these picket fence like things
Yeah.
that you're walking back and forth around. You might trick your eyes into seeing shadows as you're going by.
That's why I want to go back with my thermal camera. I didn't have it ready to go last night.
it'd be a good time to go like around dusk when there's a little bit more light. We can kind of just scan the area a little bit more. Then as the night falls and we have a little better grasp of the lay of the
This
land.
is very impromptu. We're just like, hey, let's go to Mercur. And we're like, okay.
Right, and after this, I have another cemetery very similar to this, but 10 to 20 times larger.
Oh, you want to
You
go where
have
you got
one?
your
What
butt
do you
grabbed
mean?
again?
Huh?
We mean you have one.
Yeah,
You have one what?
that's another cemetery. I just said. Another
You own it
cemetery.
or what?
Yes, I own this
Okay.
cemetery.
Bought it.
No, I said I
yesterday.
know of another one. I know of this other one that we can go to. I know what I said. You know what I mean, though.
I know I know of a bunch of.
But it's similar to this in another somewhat of a ghost town.
Is it in Delta?
No, but tell me more about the Delta.
Apparently there's a lot of like.
That's far as shit, though. Delta's
is.
far.
It is, and I don't hear of a lot of people going there and investigating. But there's one of the truckers that delivers to my work lives down that way, and he's always telling me about like some of the Native American burial grounds and stuff down there. Apparently, there's a lot of stuff happening down there in Delta. So one of these times we'll have to go check it out.
Okay, I don't ever hear much about Delta because it is far out of the way.
Delta. I also want to check out Usepa.
Never been there.
Neither have I.
Never heard of it.
But one of the guys I used to work with, he told me all about it, and I want to go check it out.
It's another one of those weird words. All these damn places.
It's
It's another name.
Pacific Islander for Joseph.
Really?
Yes,
So this town isn't that old then.
early 1900s. About the same time as Mercur.
Really?
Yep.
I wonder why they named it that.
Someone's a name.
I could tell you more about it if you want, but we're talking about Mercur this episode.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, so USAPA, it's out kind of in the same area, out in the Twila area there. There was
Oh, I know why. Yeah,
racist Mormons.
the camps.
It was a city for Pacific Islanders that came from like Hawaii and other.
Oh, yes, I do remember hearing about this place. And
It was a whole thriving city. They had the post office and grocery stores and all that there, fire department and stuff. And they were there because they didn't have a temple from where the LDS temple. And apparently, like, it was okay for them to be here in Utah, closer to the temple, but they didn't want them, like, living near them. Racist people. So these Pacific Islanders went and started their own town, USEPA. And once they started building temples, like, in Hawaii and back, like, where they're from, they up and left and just moved back home, basically. And so it's just kind of like a little ghost town now.
Do you think that would be haunted, though?
I don't know, but I want to go check it out.
It would be cool to just walk through it. Just
I know that not last year because of COVID, but I don't think they did it this year. But usually in the summertime, there's like a big Polynesian festival out there.
We need to go check it out.
You need to do more research on it too.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, I've been wanting to go there for a couple of years.
I remember you talking about this, and I remember someone else talking about this as well, and just nothing ever happens about it.
Yeah, and there's probably nothing there, but it would be cool to go check out a little creepy ghost town.
Yeah, I'll bring out my metal detector, see if we can find some old cans of Spam.
Yeah.
No, you're being racist.
What?
Or stereotype.
You know it's true, though. But so yeah.
Spice process alien meat.
So Mercur in itself, I don't think it's haunted. I don't think it's very haunted at all, to where it needs a lot of investigating.
No.
I'm glad it's free.
Yeah, you just walk over there.
Yes.
Hey, there's not patrol people or security guards in a shack that get us, chase us out.
No.
They didn't actually chase us out, though. They chased out those loud teenagers, and we just kind of hid and made it look like we were just walking down the street as a, couple.
All right, you'd think there'd be a lot of cops for as much finger banging goes on that highway.
right? It's the cops doing the finger banging, so. Those were all undercover cars.
But yeah, I'm not impressed with this place. But I mean, if you want to go back and check out some other things
I
and try some more,
give it 1 out of 5 stars.
I mean, I would rather put more energy into other places, and then coming back to this and on a time where we don't have anything else to check out. Maybe.
No, I agree. I don't really have a desire to go back. I just don't. I don't see the appeal.
Right.
I don't. Like I said, I felt like there was like a spirit there, and they didn't really want to talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I never get anything there. I've never felt much going on there.
Maybe they're embarrassed. Like, I'm the one that started the fire.
Maybe.
I was cooking
and
orange
in that
chicken.
article, it said, I mean, it straight up said in that article that paranormal investigators have a hard time getting anything to communicate.
Yeah,
Because again,
but
why
yet the
would
name
you
of the
wanna-
title of the article is one of the most haunted places in Utah.
Not much activity, but oh boy, is it haunted.
Yeah.
Like,
This
Exactly.
article is Utah's Invisible Ghost Town. This is on the Slick website.
I saw it. Yeah.
But still, it's just like, the 7 years I've been doing this, I've heard so much about Mercur and how super haunted it is and how great of an investigation it is.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it.
No.
me neither.
I've been there thrice. 0 activity, 0 evidence, all 3 times. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'll make it back for a while over there.
I mean, if we do a cemetery, there's Sandy City Cemetery. It's not that far from my house. I'll just go.
No, I don't like this one's in the city. It's too much
Like
cars, too much
break
car
in?
noise,
Noise pollution.
Yeah, I know.
and butt touches. Too many butt touches.
Yeah, because we've
That was only in the Salt Lake Cemetery.
we've done cemeteries, and then you try to listen to your EVPs, and all you hear is just cars. Even though they're not around you or driving by the cemetery, you just hear tons of cars.
You know what cemetery we need to do?
What's that?
It's in Nevada.
Okay.
It's right
Clown
next to the
Hotel?
Clown Hotel.
We should do the Clown Hotel,
I
and
want to go to there.
let's do
Well, you
it.
guys may be making a trip to Nevada. Why don't you guys make
That's
a pit
far
stop?
out of the way.
Oh, is that?
It's a little out of the way, yeah. There's some good towns not outside of Vegas, about a half hour outside of Vegas. They go to
Okay.
Clown Motel being one of them, and then there's Eureka down there where they do a lot of like conventions and stuff.
Eureka.
Eureka in Nevada. But yeah, Ghosty and I might be going to
Oh yes,
paranormal convention in Nevada here in a couple weeks.
I'm so down. All the paranormal peeps are gonna be there. Like you got
Jason Hawes
multiple people from that group.
goes on. I
Taps.
know. I think Steve Gonzalez is going to be there. I know Josh Gates from Expedition Unknown is going to be there.
Zaphis.
John Zaffis is going to be there, and a handful of other people.
Elizabeth Saint.
Yeah, who cares?
I do. She's my friend.
She's.
Just don't be jealous.
I am
be
jealous. She wouldn't even
jealous.
talk to me.
Well, I was there.
I interviewed her on my podcast, and she still didn't want to talk
She
to me.
stopped your podcast to come talk to me. Remember?
No. I don't remember. Who's going to be there? So this is going to be the MGM Grand in Vegas on December 9th through 11th is what this says. But it only has Friday and Saturday listed. So, yeah. Jason Hawes, John Zaffis, Juwan Mass, Sarah Lemos.
I don't know those people.
There's a UF panel with Chuck Zukowski. Ben Hansen will be there. We know Ben.
We know Ben.
We're kind of friends with Ben, sort of.
Yeah. He knows we exist.
Yes, he does. Josh Gates from Expedition Unknown. Well, like the last convention we had here in Utah, I sat and talked to Ben for like an hour.
We both did.
Yeah, we did.
About night vision.
I believe so, yeah. When I asked him kind of what it was like transitioning from being, because he used to be a FBI agent and then getting into the paranormal and what it was like going from like a regular person to being like a celebrity. And he told me some pretty cool stories that I won't repeat because I don't remember them.
But you'll tell us.
Brian Cannell will be there, Steve Gonzalez, Amy Rooney, and Adam Barry from Kindred Spirits will be there.
I like them.
So there's gonna be a lot of people. I know the tickets were $60 each day if you bought them separately. If you wanted to do one day, if you did both days together, it was $100.
I don't like how this is in December. Why are they not capitalizing in October?
Probably too many obligations and other things going on and conventions.
Maybe. I saw Andrea Perrin post that she was going to be part of another convention. I don't know where, but I just saw it briefly. I saw pictures of people that would be there. I recognized some of them. But what I didn't like was the front. Because what they did, they took little pictures of everyone, probably from Facebooks or something like that. They put it all into one collage on the front cover. And the people were in the middle were Ghost Brothers from that show.
I hate that show.
I hate those guys. I think
There's nothing about them that are like they're good investigators.
Have you seen that bigger Ghost
Are
Brothers?
they brothers or are they
No,
brothers?
they're brothers.
The brothers. And they're scared of everything.
Yeah.
They run from everything.
So it's not like I want to meet those hillbillies that think they can catch ghosts in these little made-up boxes that they have.
Yeah, at least they stopped doing that. But these guys that have the show, like it really bothered me how they even got the show, and then what their show even is all about. It all bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
Like none of these guys are investigators whatsoever. One guy has like an interest, and then had this idea to have a show of him and two of his friends come along, and they're all going to ghost hunt together and just get scared of everything and try to make a funny show out of it, and it not being funny is the problem, and it being more annoying than anything.
They should have got the Wayans brothers to do this.
It would have been more entertaining for sure, because these guys are not funny. They try to investigate and they don't investigate. They just run away from shit and just nothing about what they do. I don't even know if they find much evidence either.
I haven't gone past the second episode.
Yeah, it's hard to even watch the show.
Okay, I'll watch it once because I'm interested in paranormal shows. I'll watch it. And I was like, okay, I don't like it. Let me try the second episode. I'm like, okay, I cannot do this anymore.
You made it farther than I did. I've never seen an episode.
You're not missing anything.
Nope. I don't know. I don't know if they've gotten better. Apparently, they're going to be at this convention, so maybe they've done a few more seasons. I don't know, but I couldn't get past the second episode. I'm like, I'm done. Done with it.
But Kindred Spirits, Amy and Adam, those two, and some of One of the things that they do when they investigate. Have you guys watched much of their show?
I have
No. I do know Amy and Adam, I believe, are friends with our good friend Chip Coffee.
Of course they are. He's always on the show. He's like one of the main
Actually,
guests.
Chip will be at that thing with Andrea Perrin. Chip Coffee
okay.
will be there.
That makes sense. We've actually met Chip, so
And Andrea.
and Andrea. We played the interview that you guys did a couple years ago.
That's
We're
right.
friends.
I'm friends with Andrea on Facebook. I don't know if you are.
Yep. That's
Oh,
how
good.
that's how I found out about this convention I'm telling you about.
Oh, duh, that makes sense. Why do you let me talk?
So one of the things that Adam and Amy do when they investigate is they do this thing where they're doing like a ghost box session, right? But one person has headphones on and a blindfold on, and they're only listening to what is getting played through the spirit box.
I've heard about that before.
And so usually it's Amy. She's usually blindfolded and noise canceling headphones, so she can't hear anything going on around her. And then she's repeating what she hears gets said through the spirit box. So she doesn't know what is being asked or what anything. All she's doing
I
is
see.
repeating what she hears.
Oh, we're so doing that with you.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
what? So one person is in another room and they're asking questions, and she's answering these questions through what she is hearing from the
Yeah.
spirit box, and it is pretty spot on. Sometimes it is crazy. Spooky.
I like that idea.
Like he's asking questions and she's just blurting out what she hears, and he's just like, "What?"
All right, we're going back to Mercur and we're doing this.
Or somewhere more haunted.
Yeah, I know. No, Mercur. It's got to be Mercur because that's what the episode's about.
So I've been wanting to do this, and I always forget about it. I never remember it, and I'm glad it got brought up so I can say it now, and you guys hear it now.
Right.
So when I do forget it, at least I'm not the only one that'll forget it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm taking donations for new paranormal gear. I'll put my Venmo on the Facebook page.
I want to get a better spirit box. I don't like the one that I have right
What do
now.
you have?
The one from Ghost Stop.
Oh, I have the SB7.
Right. The SB7 or the SB11 would probably be a lot
I have
better
to get it
choice.
back from the person I borrowed it to, but I do own an SB7.
Just because I like the frequencies that those pull from rather than FM and AM radios.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much other noises going on those.
Wait, that's what SB7 pulls from is AM and FM.
But it does it in a different way. Because when I hear that,
Well, you can scan forward and backwards.
I know there's another one I think I seen on Ghost Adventures where it's almost white noise-ish. Just you don't hear the actual cuts of going from station to station. It sounds more like just white, just a constant white noise. And so you're not hearing the blips and all the cuts. You're just like almost just like a dead air noise.
You know,
And
we
then-
could probably find a white noise generator on some of these websites.
But not a white noise generator, but something that's just a better spirit box that doesn't give you all the cuts and all the
Well, that's all the spirit box is doing is creating white noise.
right. But there's a better one that I've seen on Ghost Adventures. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
It probably
we'll
costs
fi-
more.
Find it and we'll get
Yes,
it.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you for acknowledging that.
I'm just saying, I have an SB7.
Okay, let's get some
Somewhere.
better stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
Okay, let's do all of these.
I know. So birthdays and Christmas is coming up. So we'll get some.
Ooh, maybe at the convention they might be selling some really cool equipment.
Ooh, maybe.
Okay, now.
Okay, we're definitely going.
Yep, we're definitely going.
I might
just thought
have
of
to
that.
call after work one day.
Yeah, do it. I'll call my boss too.
You're your own boss.
He's cool though too. My
Yeah,
boss is
yeah,
real
he's
cool.
kind of a dick, from what I've heard.
Maybe you should take him on the Fingerbang Highway.
I don't know if I want to
Give
go
him
to
a
Vegas
test ride.
anymore. I don't know if I want to take you to Vegas anymore. I'm going solo.
That's how you always go on the Fingerbang Highway.
I'm getting my own room. I'm not sharing a room with you, weirdo.
We'll see what happens.
We'll share a room.
We're totally sharing.
We'll totally share a room. It's cheaper.
Well, I think that's it for old Mercur, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Did we even talk about it?
Yeah, we did. We talked about Mercur for some time.
Don't go there. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's such a waste of time.
It really is.
You're welcome, everybody.
There's no buildings to look at. There's just some picket fences in rectangular boxes.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Don't. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Ghosts, you don't play that shit.
Peace out, butterflies.
Let's go paranormal gear shopping.
This is the EVP Podcast.